Batman is without a doubt one of the world's most recognizable and beloved superheroes. Created in May of 1939, the character is one of the first superheroes and has been around even longer than the likes of Spider-Man, the Avengers, and the X-Men. His lasting apparel has seen him star in a huge number of movies, TV shows, and video games. But why is it then that we can relate to a privileged billionaire who is so much different from all of us? Maybe it's because even though he has an explosive gadgets, the Caped Crusader is just a man. He can't fly, he's not super strong, and he has no superhero powers. But every night he puts his life on the line against the villains to protect the city he cares about. So here you will find just 10 things you may not know about Batman. He single-handedly kicked Darkseid's butt. Darkseid may have killed Batman. He actually ended up being sent back in time in another storyline from Grant Morrison, but the hero paid him a visit with a special Batman suit. He gave the villain a real beating. The suit, though, was slowly killing Bruce, but it helped him have enough of an advantage to level the playing field. He's named after two historical figures. Marvel is all about alternative names: Bruce Banner, Matt Murdock, Peter Parker, and Sue Storm. A little more thought was put into Batman's alter ego, with co-creator choosing Bruce Wayne from two historical figures. Scottish patriot King Bruce I of Scotland, who led the Wars of Scottish Independence, provided the Caped Crusader's first name, while Brigadier General Anthony Wayne, a hero of the American Revolutionary War, is responsible for his last. It's a small thing, and one of which it hasn't had a huge impact on Batman's adventures. Batman doesn't win just because he's Batman. In the entire nerd debate of who would win in a battle between blank and blank, likes to think that Batman would always come out on top, because, well, he's Batman. This isn't true, though, and we see in many of the comics that sometimes he loses. As amazing and strong as Batman is, he doesn't always win against evil villains. If he did, he'd be one of the most boring superhero characters of all time. He hasn't grown to become the face of superheroes he is today by winning every single battle. Sorry guys, Batman does lose. Batman's greatest weapon is not a gadget. For someone who has billions of dollars at their fingertips, you would think Batman would come up with some kind of gadget to defeat villains instantly and then go back to living his life. But if we had that, we wouldn't have Batman comics, and it would just be boring. But Batman's greatest weapon is his mind. Batman continues year after year to defeat some of the most cunning and powerful supervillains in the DC universe. And it's not just his smarts that help him, but it's his mind, his willpower. He just keeps going. He doesn't give up. That's what makes Batman great. Hugh Hefner may be responsible for the 1960s TV series. Hugh Hefner, as well as spending his days in the company of beautiful women, is also a big comic book fan. He often threw parties with superhero themes, and at one of these events at a Chicago Playboy Club in 1965, he and his guests dressed up as characters from the Batman comics of the time. An ABC executive was in attendance at the party, and seeing just how much the crowd seemed to enjoy and love the version of the Caped Crusader, he went straight to the nearest payphone and immediately pitched the idea. He used to use a gun. One of Batman's best qualities is the fact that he does not like guns, and this is because of the way his parents were murdered in an alley when he was a kid. But for a time, the Caped Crusader armed himself with a gun during his patrols. But during his early appearances, Batman was more of a crime-fighting Sherlock Holmes than he is the superhero of today. So being equipped with a firearm made more sense than anything. His mother became the Joker. Martha Wayne is the Joker. Well, in an alternate reality, that is. The Flashpoint storyline shook things up in a major way for many superheroes, but they really made some big changes for Batman. In the storyline, it was revealed that the young Bruce, who had actually been shot that night in the alley, with his parents surviving him. This led to Thomas, Bruce's dad, becoming a much darker version of the Caped Crusader, and an unhinged Martha, Bruce's mom, transforming into the Joker. When Batman told her he had a way to fix their reality, creating the New 52, the Joker committed suicide upon realizing that would mean that their son would grow up to become Batman. There have been 8 live-action Batmans, starting in 1943 with Lewis Wilson, then Robert Lowry. Then in 1989 we had Tim Burton's Michael Keaton. Then we had Val Kilmer and George Clooney. Not long after that we had Christian Bale, and then Ben Affleck. But the best of all time has to go to 1965's Adam West. Frank Sinatra wanted to play the Joker. The 1960s Batman series helped put the Caped Crusader on the map, in a big way. In the years which have followed, it became something of a pop culture phenomenon. In recent Blu-ray releases and even an ongoing comic book series, those who've starred in the show have even been fondly remembered as their takes on various iconic DC comic characters. But if the legendary crooner, Frank Sinatra, had his way, he would have been one to play the Joker, instead of Cesar Romero. Frank Sinatra was very upset because he couldn't have played the Joker. He once merged with Wolverine. In one of the rare crossovers between Marvel and DC, Batman and Wolverine were merged into a character known as Logan Wayne, aka Dark Claw. No, really, it happened. Their origin stories were mashed together, so it was now Logan who witnessed his parents' murder as a child. However, then he moved to Canada. And it was there that a lot of Wolverine's origins took place. Dark Claw's costumes obviously incorporated elements of both sides' fan-favorite superheroes, including the adamantium claws he received from Weapon X. This was one of the most weird storylines in the 1990s. Did you enjoy this list? Let us know in the comments below for anything that we missed and anything that you want us to talk about. Be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button also for more fun content.